It's a real pleasure to be here. I mean, as Mr. Levan was just saying, we've been talking about the importance of understanding the issues around gender in rail for a while, and working out what can UIC really bring and add to the debate that will be valuable for our members and for society in a broader sense. And I think hopefully what we're talking about today is a really great start for that, and a real practical way to begin the debate from UIC's point of view. And thank you so much for everybody for joining, and especially for our members who are helping to bring this forward. So I think I don't think I need to remind many of you that one of the important cornerstones of sustainability is equality and the just transition. We know that rail and mobility has to transform quite quickly to meet the objectives of Paris, and that means some really key technical transformations and a real growth in transport. And we can't do that with a small talent pool. We can't do that without the strength and the passion and the talents of women. And so this is why it's part of why it's so important to bring forward the widest possible talent pool to really transform rail in the coming years. And not only that, of course, it's important for us to be responsible employers as companies within the rail industry, and good business. It makes good business. But as well as the workforce issue, of course, it's our passengers, and more we need to, as passenger operators, look and understand better the changing needs and the real needs of our passengers, and not just the passengers that are using trains today, but the ones that we want to attract in the future. And that's often women, because there are real barriers that are preventing women from feeling safe traveling in public transport and rail. And so we really need to think about how we help women to feel safe when they travel. So we've got a small group of really passionate members here in Europe that have come together to make a start on this project, and we really hope today we can inspire others to join this passionate group on Train to be Equal. So we have this small working group, and we've started to share knowledge around this topic. And today really is this sort of communication and outreach to the broadest possible audience to really invite further contribution and carry out a series of these online workshops on topics which we believe are going to be helpful to move the agenda forward. And so really we're seeking to build knowledge on these topics. And so we're starting today on gender data, then we'll be moving forward to a range of different workshops throughout the year and into next year. So you can see that our next one is a really popular and interesting topic around security, personal security for women, and particularly for passengers, but also women working in rail as well, and helping them to be safe at work. So that's due for September. So watch this space for the dates be announced for the next online workshop on security. And Laura's joined us today, and she'll tell us a little bit about what we do in security, and they'll be very much in the lead for our September workshop. Secondly, then we'll be going through into looking at gender responsive design, and really thinking about how we can better design particularly stations and infrastructure spaces for that better serves the needs of women. And then next year we're thinking something around the workforce, a real focus on how we can really look at improving the way that we hire in rail and make the work environment attractive to women. And then later in next year, we really hope to get together in person. And rather than having a workshop, we're talking a walkshop, which is very exciting idea, and really sort of an active, interactive way of learning and connecting the broader transport community. But we're not stopping in Europe. We have heard, and UIC is a global organization, and we've been talking to people from all of our regions, and we see now that that there's lots of interest and passion in doing work in all of our regions around the world. So we've got planned action in Africa, working with the African Union Commission. We've got planned a workshop in Malaysia in October, where we'll engage our Asia Pacific members. And we're also kicked off plans for workshops in Latin America as well, with our members in Latin America. So this is going to be a really truly global effort, with some real looking at the context of each of those regions, and really providing a platform for collaborative sharing on this topic. So I think that's, yeah, just one more slide. Yeah, so we don't want to stop here with just the workshops. We've got lots of real ambition to move forwards on this. We'd like to do some really interesting research to really better understand the barriers for working women in rail, as well as really understanding the female experience in rail as a rail passenger. We're thinking, how can we bring about a global charter to really move forward the ambition of railway companies on the topic. And you just heard from Mr. Doren that we've launched our own UIC Academy. So we'd really like to bring this topic into that space and develop some really helpful training for rail operators to get better on this topic. And so as part of that, we'll be developing e-learning materials. So that's our plan. So we really hope that many of you can get involved in that and get in touch, and because we've got so much to do.